up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav show from the JP and Trav YouTube channel. As always, your host with the most, JP. And to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother, and friend, better known as Bowl Game, Trav today. Trav, how we feeling, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. Just had a lovely Christmas, and hoping everybody out there did as well. Kind of stayed off social media, like for the most part, just because like all this portal negativity and this, that, and the other. Like I'm just not here for it. So I was like, you know what, ready to kind of dip out for a little bit, and obviously I'll get back at it tomorrow with the bowl game, be live chatting and live tweeting and all kinds of stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
yeah. How are you doing, man?
man, I'm doing good. As you guys know, I wasn't here last week because of my wisdom teeth surgery, and the first few days wasn't that bad, but to be honest, the last like 2 to 3 have been pretty rough. My mouth is killing me. Like,
Why was it just like you were on painkillers and swollen and numb or whatever, or now it's just
man, I don't know. I really wasn't taking that many painkillers, and then might cut out for a second. I think that it's just like my jaw and my gums are still super sore, and it's like the blood like rushes to it, and like it's like still healing, and I don't know. It's just weird. I looked it up, and they said that it happens sometimes that you'll get worse pain, later on than you had the first few days. Probably because some of the numbing is wearing off and stuff like that. But I thought I was in the clear, and then I've taken more Tylenol and Advil in my entire more like the last few days than I have like in my entire life. like a routine.
what?
Two Tylenol, 3 Advil every 6 to 8. So
It's kind
I'm
of like
doing.
everybody, like with the trauma of dental work, all that trauma of dental work, like finally catches up to you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it finally like it's like, okay, my body's like, man, it feels like somebody was cutting and scraping and poking and
yeah.
stabbing in my mouth for a while. So,
That's
anyways,
exactly what just happened.
glad for you to be on the other end of that. We're welcoming people in from our YouTube channel, JP and Trav, as well as Twitter. Got nearly 300 of you in here right now. I appreciate regulars popping in like Sheila and Topher, David popping in over from Twitter, Jeff popping in very early. So, anyways, if you're going down to the bowl game, I know OU Club of Fort Worth has got a lot going on. Hopefully, you're already there, considering the game is in the morning. JP, 11 a.m. on a
Man,
Friday. Gonna be very weird. I'm doing radio from a local cigar place, Bourbon and Ash Cigar Lounge, and it's funny. It's like an 11 a.m. Friday cigar lounge situation. I was like, hey, maybe some people are still on vacation or whatever. They feel like smoking a stogie while watching an OU game. I'm all about it. So if you're in Tulsa tomorrow, for the game, go ahead and come on by and come through. I'll be doing 2 hours of post game radio from there, and hopefully go get a dub, right, JP? Go
yeah,
get a finish the season 7-6. Whoopee.
yeah. You gotta hope that we can figure something out because I mean, look, we all know that people are going to freak out either way. I think more people will freak out probably if we lose, and they're like, "Oh, we lost the Navy," and even though our roster's not what it's going to be, you know, even in the spring. But regardless, I think it'll be nice to go out there and see, what the young talent we have is working with. See Hawk out there. See the younger guys, see the younger receivers, see what they got. Because obviously we know everybody's freaking out about the receiver room, and we've had some portal entries and whatnot. It's just interesting to see, what it'll look like, especially defensively. To be honest, that's what I'm paying attention to.
Yeah.
Is defensively with the missing obviously Billy and Danny's big, but like a good chunk of the guys that you have from this year's defense will be out there. So
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting on offense, specifically with Devon Mitchell. Like he's putting stuff out on Twitter now. People have said how excited they are the last couple of weeks. Some people are even saying that's why we've not spent crazy money in the portal on tight ends because they really believe in guys like Devon Mitchell and then Caden Helms getting healthy and contributing at his 6'5", 245 or whatever he is now. Like, I don't know. It would be kind of fun to see like a breakout tight end game, right? But
Yeah,
the thing is, the first thing somebody would say is instead of being excited about the future of the tight end room, they'd be, "Where's this been? Joe John had this guy on the shelf the whole time. Had these guys on the shelf for Bauer Sharp. What's going on? Fire Joe John, right? Like it.
yeah.
Whatever happens, there will be hashtag fire whoever trending in the second half. I promise you."
And the fire Joe John train is deep. I'm not. I mean, even I'm over here saying like, Joe John is probably the weakest link on offense. But listen, Travis, we didn't get to really talk through our trip because, like I said, I was out last week. But what I tell you, first of all, we had a great trip in Denver. Besides my coach getting embarrassed, and Trav could tell you about that. I know that he had mentioned, I think last week, that if y'all have not had the opportunity to understand this about me, I am authentic. I'm who I am on Twitter. I'm the same way in person. Now I don't get crazy, but I will talk a little bit. So I'm in there talking in the family section. That Mr. Jamar so graciously blessed us with. I was feeling good, and then JT dropped the ball on the 1 yard line, and it was a touchback, and then we had the Nick six that happened, and I was defeated at that point. But anyways, regardless of that, man, I had a great time with my brother out there. We explored Denver, did some great things. But the theme that was present through the weekend was the negativity on Sooner X. Like me and Trav talked about it probably every like 15, 20 minutes, like, oh my gosh, like these people they're tripping because it's, oh, you don't want to do this, and oh, you don't want to do that, and oh, everything going crazy. And then Dion finally decided to come back. And then even then people were like, okay, just because Dion comes back doesn't mean anything's good. It doesn't mean that the Venables era isn't over. And just, going crazy. So much so to the point, I'll let Trav run with this and continue with it because I feel like it's just more his story to tell. And I don't know if you said it last week because, like I said, I only popped in for 5 minutes. But we were talking to a former Sooner, right? That we won't name, and he was even saying how crazy OU/Twitter can be. And I'll let Trav finish that off.
Well, it was kind of funny because obviously Denver's got a lot of former Sooners on the team, and anyways, one of them was talking to us about, man, like we get worried because so if we go and post that we worked out with like Wiley or just because we were in LA, and if we post that we're hanging out with a former player or former coach, or if we support Theo Weiss because he's in a group chat with us or whatever, he's like, man, they'll be on our necks like crazy. He's like, those people, he's like, I mean, we see it, and I this person doesn't comment on it, but that was one of the first things he said whenever he walked up to us, was like, man, OU fans on Twitter just, man, they go nuts. So the players are definitely seeing it, and I'm sure all the players that all the players that enter the portal and see a bunch of OU fans under there, man, don't come here, we'll waste your talents, lame duck, position coach, this, that, and the other. It's just, it is, everybody sees it. So at least former players are saying they see it. But, it is, it is what it is. People can share their opinions and whatnot. I do like that we've got a couple people tuned in over on Twitter, like KRJ says Boomer Sooner, expletive Navy, signed someone employed by the Navy, trying to get demonetized over here. But get back guy, of course. Navy vet, screw Navy, Boomer Sooner. Man, a lot of people, a lot of Navy vets going against Navy on this. That's kind of. But for those of you on Twitter, if you do want to pop over, JP and Trav Show, follow the link, like the video. We've got well over 600 in here. Go ahead and tap the like button. Tuning in from Kansas City, I like that. OU by 20 plus, says Mark. Okay. What do you think this game's even going to look like, JP? Because this thing might be over in 45 minutes, considering how often all of us run the ball. Because I don't think we're going to air it out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. Honestly, Trav, I think I'm most interested in the defensive, how the defense performs. But I am super interested in what offense we're going to see, because I know that Arbuckle's offense is not fully installed, but he is coaching the quarterbacks. So you have to believe there's some sort of influence. And so I'm just interested to see how that looks, how Michael Hawkins looks, what they do. Is it going to be a ton of QB run game? I can see that. I could see, hopefully some quick game. But, yeah, I don't know that we're going to be airing it out a ton either. And we know what Navy does as well. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamic of the game for sure. What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be run heavy. I just hope that, because Joe John's calling it, I hope Joe John doesn't overthink it. And I hope he sticks with what works. What works on this team is running the ball with Xavier Robinson behind an offensive line that is our willing run blockers. That are going to be blocking Navy defensive linemen that are not LSU's defensive line, that are not Bama's defensive line, that are not Ole Miss's defensive line. Like, you can run on them if you want. That's what Notre Dame did. Run the rock. So I want to see that happen. I don't want to see a bunch of cute stuff. God forbid if I see a tight end try and throw the ball, I'm going to lose my mind. So let the quarterbacks throw the ball. Let the running backs, and quarterbacks run the ball. I do appreciate that get back guy updating us on the Thunder win over the Indiana Pacers. So JP just taking all kinds of L's. All kinds of L's. But anyways, I just think
OKC's best team in the league. So I'm not
okay. Yeah. OKC is.
We watched them, and we're good in our own right. We've been better than we've been in years with Tyrese and Benedict Mathurin, taking up the rear, and Miles, who is a former Texas Longhorn, but he's endeared himself to City Indy. So he's coming along as well in his 10th year. But we're better than we've been. But yeah, that's not a shock that we would have taken the L.
But yeah, I just hope I hope that been keeping it vanilla all year for this game.
I'm sure we have.
Ready to let it fly. I do want Hawkins to take some shots downfield, though. I really want that. I don't think you're going to see a bunch of, elite corner play from Navy or elite safety play. I'm just not all the way sold on their defense. You can run on them. They don't have the athletes. And I think Michael Hawkins is going to have a big day on the ground. I think Michael Hawkins Jr. rushes for over 50 yards. When you're running keep in mind, the last time Hawkins saw some real meaningful time, he had Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart being blocked by tight ends. Yeah. And that's what he had to dodge. There is nobody on this roster that looks anything like Kyle Kennard or Dylan Stewart. And other than that, who did he have to play in Texas? Ant Hill, Colin Simmons, those kind of guys. Like, there are first-round draft picks everywhere in Michael Hawkins Jr.'s way this year when he played true freshman, right? Well, now against Navy, he's going to get to show off his wheels a little bit in the DFW area. Obviously, he played at Allen and then Frisco Emerson. I'd imagine, especially, he's a big-time Texas high school football name. You know what I mean? First freshman to start at Allen since Kyler Murray. Did big things. Carried Frisco Emerson, into a deep playoff run. I just think you can stick with the run game, and that's all you need. Notre Dame rushed for like almost 300 yards on these guys. OU has every bit of good, if not better, rush offense in the last 5 weeks as Notre Dame. So it is kind of crazy to see the kind of the heel turn on it, but I expect the offensive line to have a good day, the running backs to have a good day, Michael Hawkins to rush for over 50 yards. So defense, I mean, it would be really nice to have Billy and Danny there for obvious reasons, but specifically from a communication standpoint. Danny's always he's the green dot getting everybody lined up. Billy, I don't think they're going to air it out a bunch. I mean, it's Navy we're talking about here. They don't have a massive downfield passing game outside of maybe a fake here, or, play action over the top, but nothing that is going to resemble things we saw from Tennessee or Sarkisian's Texas or anybody like that, even Nussmeier. Like, you're not going to see guys just go and them put the ball up down the field and burners everywhere. You're just not going to see that. So I think they're going to run the ball well, and I think whoever runs the ball best is going to win the game, and I expect OU to run the ball best if they stick to it. I still don't fully trust Joe John Finley to stick to the run game, because I think he wants to treat this as kind of an audition and be like, hey, see, look, I still got a couple tricks up my sleeve. We're going downfield.
Yeah, a double tight end pass, that ends up with that tight end going to that school. Trav, remind me really quick, and we'll get a score prediction here soon, but I do want to, I know we're past this cycle basically, but just give me your thoughts on the Sooners signing John Mateer and what you feel like he's going to bring to OU moving forward. Because obviously, I don't know that is he at OU?
He's signed. He was buying boots today in Norman, I think.
Okay.
So here's the thing. John Mateer is going to bring competition to that room. Obviously, for the resources that you've invested in him, there's an obvious, hey, he's the starter. But I don't think it is I don't think that it is valuable to ever hand somebody a starting position. Like, you never develop depth that way. The starter doesn't get any better. So he's going to bring, yes, the highest total touchdown count in NCAA this year. He's going to bring that with us. He's going to bring accuracy. He's going to bring knowledge of the offense. He's a quick decision maker in that offense. And really, he's going to be a resource for the rest of the quarterback room, a resource for the rest of the offense, not unlike Dylan was whenever he showed up with Levy, to teach everybody the offense. If you don't get Mateer, you just have Arbuckle, and Arbuckle doesn't bring any of his offensive staff outside of his assistant quarterback coach, they've got to install the entire offense alone with no players. So, anyways, he brings a lot. I just really hope they let Hawkins develop in a competition, because I truly believe, Boomer Goon are going to be there. Awesome. Truly believe that Jackson Arnold was handed the job without having to earn it, and we paid the price for it in 2024. Paid the price for it in 2024. I think we were worse off because they promised the job to Jackson Arnold. And I'm not sure if the optics there were, hey, we ran off Dylan for Jackson. We need to stick with him. We don't want to be, we don't want to ruin our recruiting by saying that, this 5-star Gatorade this and, Texas high school football that. We just, he lost the competition. Like, we don't want to ruin his confidence. Anyways, this, that, and the other. But that's what I hope Mateer brings. And honestly, Mateer brings I think Arbuckle and Mateer in general. If you just would have said, hey guys, you had a terrible offensive year. But what you did was, in response to that, you went and got the #1 portal quarterback, and you got a Broyles Award finalist offensive coordinator. Like, if you just said you got those two things, you'd be like, okay, OU is on. They're taking the steps necessary. So, anyways, that's I think a lot of people get caught up in the, okay, it was one piece. Now we're getting worked up about this. It was one piece. Now we got to get worked up about this. It's like, if you just boiled it down to, you went and got, by all metrics, an elite OC, again, Broyles semifinalist, to pair with and a young guy, and he brings not only the number one player in the portal with him, but the number one player in the portal with him happens to be in his system and highly productive in his system. So I know Jordan Boomer's not having a good time saying, with what offensive linemen do we have that will block for a run game? It's the same ones that were out there against Bama. Yeah. And they have much crazier, it's like, if they just do what they did against Bama, we didn't have to throw the ball against Bama. They dropped back 12 times. Yeah. Like, stick with the game, and you can win. I mean, there's no reason to believe that OU does not have the talent or the personnel to match man for man in the trenches with Navy. It's no disrespect to Navy. It's just there were times like our left tackle didn't allow a hurry against Bama. You know what I mean? Like, we were going against Walter Nolan, like guys like this, like crazy stuff. Like you're just not dealing with that type of athlete on the defensive side of the ball. And I think it's going to become rather evident. Now, you can't totally rest on that, because, if you come in cocky, then Navy will punch you in the mouth, and now you're playing catch up for 4 quarters. But the offensive lineman, we have more continuity right now than we've had all year. You've got Howland holding down the left side, Troy Everett at center. Fabechi's played every single game, started every single game. And then at right tackle, you've got some options. I would love to see Isaiah Autry-Dent there. But again, you've got more continuity on the offensive line than you've had all year, and you're going against a defensive line that is one of the worst you've seen all year. So,
yeah,
I'm going to end up on a Navy hype video, mini movie afterwards, saying their defensive line is talented as all these
defensive line we've seen all year, 8 sacks. Let's get a score prediction in, and then we'll we won't spend a crazy amount of time. Some people still with family and everything like that, but I think we get a good show in. We'll do some Q&A for a couple minutes, and then we'll get out of here. Score prediction. What are we feeling? What are we feeling, y'all? 24-10. OU.
I'll let some scores populate. They're technically sound. Yes, you have to be. But in some run game stuff, downhill, pounding the rock, bludgeoning run game, the Jimmies and Joes are simply what it is. Like, you have to be you just have to have the guys, the weight, right, the strength, everything like that, to combat the downhill run game. You can do a little bit more window dressing on offense, motion, into some different option looks. You can do that. On defense, just go back and watch the Notre Dame game. Like, it was a bludgeoning. So, gotten some scores rolling in. JP, why don't you give your thoughts on some of them?
Yeah. You got 27-10 from Toph. Hey, we're gonna see what that defense does. I'm not saying Navy's again amazing. And then I know they were giving Army runs for their money, and the Navy Army game and everything, and we gotta make sure we're technically sound, and with losing 2 guys like Dan and Billy, it's gonna see what can happen. 35-17. See that 21-13.
Well, it's in 8 straight bowl games, OU has scored more than 24 points. So,
interesting.
And we've bumped up over 1,000 people watching live. So appreciate y'all jumping in. If you guys are on the YouTube side of things, hit the like button. It's free. You just spent a bunch of money on Christmas presents. You spent a bunch of money on travel and seeing folks. Sometimes seeing people you even want to see. You flew out to them. You had to commute, rent a car, all this kind of stuff. You're like, man, my pocket's I need that next payday to come. Like button is free. Free 99. Tap it.
That's it. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
38-10. Trips.
That's a blowout. He feeling good. Like BV gonna have the boys humming.
I don't know if OU will get as many possessions to score 38 points.
Right. We're gonna have to have some fumbles or something.
Which wouldn't be crazy. I mean, we're 5-0 this year, winning the turnover battle. I mean, out of our 6 wins.
Yeah. Did you give your final prediction, Trav?
I need to know if Kirby's is for OU to win or for Navy to win. I can never trust him.
Yeah, it has to be Navy. You know him. You know Kirby.
My prediction, I gave it today on the OU Insider pregame, but I think I'm pulling back a little bit on it, going 27-14. 27-14. Jordan Boomer's coming around. He was dunking on the offensive line. Now he's like, hey, bro, let's get some likes in here. So shout out Jordan Boomer.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, I think a couple times in the red zone we come up short, kick some field goals, maybe kick a field goal to end the half. Time wise,
who's Igor? Somebody being Igor in the chat?
I have no idea. Not really anybody that I've seen.
Okay.
Oh, and of course, right after I compliment Jordan Boomer, Jordan Boomer comes back over the top with a 27-14 Navy. Man, that's like a Sour Patch Kid, but the opposite. You're sweet and then you got sour. That's funny. That's funny. No, but what are you thinking? I'm thinking we match up extremely well against their offense. Navy has the 8th most rushing touchdowns of anybody in the country. Oklahoma is 5th nationally in rush touchdowns allowed. And we've only allowed 8. But this is not a situation where we're going against Rocket Sanders and Lenora Sellers and Quintravion Wisner and Caden Durham, and those kind of guys, like guys that are like absolute difference makers, on the ground. This is scheme. If you can just stay focused and not get bored doing the same thing over and over, you can hold this offense to 2 scores. If you're Oklahoma, you just match up extremely well with it.
Yeah.
That was an interesting point. Home game light.
Yeah.
Outside of the score predictions, I want people in the chat to tell me what percentage of the crowd will be OU fans. No, Drew, I will be at Bourbon and Ash Cigar Lounge here in Tulsa at 61st and Sheridan doing radio. So I'll watch the game from there, and then I'll do 2 hours of post-game radio on remote. So 375% in a row. I don't know that 70, which is basically saying 75% average. 80%. Wow. That's somewhat surprising, JP. Because I think while Fort Worth is a heavy OU town, I get it. Like, I feel like Navy fans, if you will, are a lot more excited about maybe being in the bowl or the Armed Forces Bowl than OU. I think there are a lot of OU fans that are like, bowl game, 6-6 bowl game, get out of here, man. No good.
Yeah. I can see that, especially with the year that this has been. That are excited about the game, especially when especially offensively, a good chunk of the team is not going to be more than likely who you'll see play consistently next year, besides maybe the offensive line and running back.
I do think you will see a small, but real contingent of TCU fans there because it's in the TCU stadium.
It is.
And I think a decent amount of them are like, "Hey, I live here. You know, I get to go see a bowl game in my backyard for not too expensive." Like, I don't know. I think that you're going to have a decent amount of TCU fans. You'll see some purple in there, and it's not just crimson mixed with the blue navy.
That'll be interesting to see. Hey, I didn't expect us to be Bama to get to the bowl game, but we did. So that's all that matters.
Right. Yeah, I thought maybe Ole Miss or maybe an Ole Miss or a South Carolina, Mizzou type combination. Not Bama, but I'll take it. The vibes after the Mizzou game and post game radio were pretty low. Matt DJ 2002 says it's sold out. $35 general admission, scalping at $150 a ticket. Wow.
Really?
Wow. Somebody getting their bread.
That's nuts. That's true. I mean, Dallas is Norman South. It's been that way. Always said that. Or Oklahoma South, whatever, Southern Oklahoma.
Yeah. Fort Worth is super heavy at OU.
Hey, listen to me.
There will be some there.
Listen, we won the game. Okay? That's all that matters. We won the game, Kirby.
Well, didn't win the game that you blew the biggest lead of all time against Kirby and I's Vikings, but
yeah, that's unbelievable. I still remember that like it was yesterday. Embarrassing. That's why Gus Bradley needs to go. Oh, who? Devon Mitchell? Did you say that he's somebody that wasn't expected to play?
I think he was expected to play. I guess when you think of people who went through senior day activities and doing bowl or doing draft prep, stuff like that, when you think of the guy, like the dude himself, it's easy to see why Ethan Downs would not opt out of this. But this is a guy who is going to be training, for doing draft prep, doing that kind of stuff, going down. I think he's going to be working out down in Florida. Like it's cool that Ethan is sticking around and going through this. So,
yeah.
No, Drew England went to go see my Vikings beat the Seahawks for their 8th win in a row. Keep sleeping, people. Keep sleeping on my Vikings. We just got lucky because we got matched up with the AFC South. And when you get to play the AFC South, you can stack wins fairly quickly.
You can. We've not been the greatest division since. I mean, it's never really been a great division.
No, it is not.
The only team that's been. We're the only team that's been like an elite team in that division ever. But since Peyton left, we have no. But there's been no elite teams.
I remember those Blake Bortles years. Saxonville, Duval.
They had a great defense, but yeah, Blake was.
I still remember that it was like Nick Foles, Case Keenum, Blake Bortles, and like Tom Brady were the AFC and NFC championship games that year.
Crazy.
I believe they were up 25 was their largest lead, correct?
Yep, 25, 28-3.
28-3.
And you know who was their quarterback? Matt Ryan. You know who was our quarterback when we lost that lead?
Was Matt Ryan
I believe it was Matt Ryan.
That's funny. First round exit. Well, who knows? We keep winning. We won't have to play in the first round. So
Hey, listen.
he sits when he pees.
Q, let's get some
Kirby,
Q&A.
get him.
What did everybody get for Christmas? What everybody get for Christmas? What y'all get? Trav, what'd you get?
I got lots of stuff. Got a bunch of stuff barbecue related, seasonings and grill mats and thermometers. I got some awesome on cloud white tennis shoes, like more dressy tennis shoes, for a lot of the work. And in January and February, we're going to be doing with a lot of baseball teams. And some of my friends, made some moves around college football, coaching staffs and whatnot. So we'll be going with Team Sports Consulting Group and with stuff like that. So got a mini fridge for my little home gym. That's sweet. So I don't have to walk to the kitchen and mix all my pre-workout and supplements and everything like that. I can just have it right there in my mini fridge. So a lot of good stuff. What'd you get, JP?
Man, I actually got these clothes I'm wearing right now. My wife got me these hat. Love it.
Okay.
Got some jackets from my mother-in-law and my mom. My wife Kirsten got me this little, I don't know, she got it on TikTok, but it's like this little gaming console, it's just like a flash drive. You plug it into your TV. There's like 30,000 like different games of like Game Boy Advance.
Does it have the? I think I got something like that too.
Yeah, it got like backyard baseball, like old Sega Genesis games, like Mario Kart,
Nice.
64. So it's pretty dope. I haven't even explored all of it yet, but
I got a couple of the Unreal UNRL hoodies.
Oh yeah,
love those things. So yeah, all in all, good Christmas. Is anybody not done with Christmas yet? I know some people are having their Christmas in January and all kinds of stuff to help travel and big groups and everything like that. I don't need to go on the street. I don't look like Tim Darnold like at all.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Ooh, a Traeger smoker.
Okay. Sooner in Texas. Where in Texas are you? Because you might have to, when you break that thing in, we might have to be there to help out.
That's a fact.
This will be Danny.
Yeah. I think late first. I can see it.
I'd say probably high second.
Yeah.
High second. I could see him going first, but just looking at mocks and whatnot, I would see him going high to mid second.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the size, prototypical size, speed. I wonder if the BV bump, because that used to be like a real thing. Like if you played linebacker in BV's defense, he'd been coaching for so long and knew so many NFL guys and everything like that you kind of just got the benefit of the doubt where you got bumped a little, kind of like the Bill Bedenbaugh bump when it comes to an offensive line. Like, hey, draft that guy, he's coming from good foundation. That's what Andy Reid says at least. And then with BV, with linebacker play, it's just kind of one of those. Oh, my man Marco in the chat. I think I brought him up on the OU Insider the other day. Yeah, I wonder what Danny's 40 time is. I mean, I know he's got good speed side to side. He showed good speed in in the few times he's gotten the ball on defense. Enough where people wanted to make little put him on offense, put him at fullback, tight end. But I don't know what 40 time, what type of 40 time he's got. I always knew he was fast for a linebacker. Now is he fast for other positions? Maybe not, but he's fast for a linebacker. I know that much. Not a lot of linebackers are going to be in there running, low 4.4s or anything like that.
Yeah.
Marco's got to tell us what Von's fastest time has been. Nothing shocks me when athletically when it comes to Vaughn, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's faster than most tight ends.
It's gotta be fast. It's faster than that. It's probably like 4.6.
Sooner in Texas in Houston.
Hey,
I should be
down.
in February.
Going down. Okay.
I should be in Houston in February because I believe I'll be judging the OU Club of Houston barbecue cook-off. So I'll be one of the judges for that. So we'll see. All these Texans keep on telling me they know how to, cook barbecue, but Lincoln Riley's a Texan, so I don't know about his. So I can't trust any of y'all up behind a smoker. So
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get down to 6.
Keep these questions coming. What else we got?
Yeah, this one, the Sam Darnold redemption, best story of the season.
It's crazy.
This just goes to show you him and Baker. If you get the right situation and the right coaches, these guys are talented guys. Like this is an indictment on the Jets and the Panthers and the Browns. Like that's who it's the indictment on. Like for those guys each to have over 30 touchdowns this year, this just goes to tell you, get your trust in development. Develop your players. Don't expect everybody to be a finished product whenever they get to the NFL.
And if Baker had actual defense, he'd probably be like 11-4.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You ain't wrong, Kirby.
Zach Alley.
I still think it's Zach Alley. I mean, the rumor mill is heating up again.
Bro.
with Morgantown-based rumor mill Twitter account. Folks saying, "Hey, Zach Alley's the top choice." Well, yeah, Zach Alley should be the top choice, but Zach Alley has to have West Virginia as his top choice for that to matter.
Travis, bro, I'm telling. Look, everybody can hold me accountable.
Oh man, don't say anything too crazy.
I will delete my account. I'll delete my account.
I don't think it happens, but man, crazier things have happened.
If Zach Alley, and when I say delete my account, I mean I'll get off for a little bit. I'm not crazy. but I will be off of Twitter for a month.
30 days. Maybe take a 30-day hiatus.
30 days. If Zach Alley goes to West Virginia, it just does not make any sense. I understand that Rich Rodriguez was his former head coach at Jacksonville State, but you think he has a better relationship with Rich Rodriguez than Brent Venables? 1. 2, you think he's going to make more money at West Virginia than he is going to make at Oklahoma? And the head coach in waitings, that doesn't make any sense. How long is Rich going to be there? Rich is only going for a year or 2? Is that what they're going to say?
It is pretty wild to say you have a coach in waiting tag under a guy it's his first year on the job.
Just got hired.
Like it would be weird to be like, "Hey, why don't you come here?" Because you would assume it's Rich Rod, like he would have to retire. Because if Rich Rod gets fired, no coach in waiting tag is going to matter. So
it's an unbelievable downgrade, and he was he was up for a Broyles Award.
Right. I mean,
he was a Broyles Award semifinalist at Oklahoma, but he's going to go to West Virginia, an incredibly lesser program, and do the same thing. It would not make any sense.
I would say a small part of why I think he will stay. When you're a defensive coordinator and you get the athletes that Oklahoma gets, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and the recruiters that we have on the defensive side of the ball, when you get to coach guys like Danny and Billy, but even when you get new guys coming up, like Boganowski and Powers and Hardy and Omosigo and Johnson and Bowen and Okoye and Stone and Jackson and all these guys. Like everything always comes back to food for me. If I get a job as a chef somewhere and I get to deal with Wagyu all day and fresh flown in fish and fresh oysters and just great product, like I enjoy my job more than if I got to go and be like, oh crap, yep, freezer's full of stuff that I drop in the fryer and ship out there. Like not and I know that's very mean to West Virginia, but at a certain point, it's nice, especially going from Jacksonville State to Oklahoma, that I just have all this talent to work with, and I can put those guys in the league, and I can get through with that process a little bit and continue to build out my own portfolio. I just think there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah, there would have to be some connection that I have no idea about, because the Rich Rodriguez connection is not strong enough for me. It's just not. If it's Ohio State, if it's LSU, if it like almost any other SEC school outside of like Kentucky, Mississippi State, whatever, maybe understand it. Because I mean, at best or at worst, it's a lateral move, But at best, this is a downgrade by all metrics. At best, he's going to make less money. I guarantee that. He's going to make less money. Yes, you go to a better situation in terms, if you want to say that, in terms of conference, like the talent level isn't as high in the Big 12, if that's what you want to say. But you had a defense that, was the second best rushing defense in the nation and tops in the SEC. And, just obviously you had some issues on the back end, but like your defense was well respected in the best conference in football this year. So why?
Yeah, I mean, if he coaches the same he coaches at West Virginia this past year, he's probably not a Broyles finalist or semifinalist. Like, it's just probably not the case. Right. Want to address this real quick. Why should we retain Dominic? He's not that guy. We should use that money for somebody better. Dominic Williams led defensive linemen in tackles this year for Oklahoma. Now, he wasn't in the backfield all that often, but he is. When JP brings up run stopping and like, hey, number 2 run defense in the country, like that is because you have a guy like Dominic Williams leading the defensive line room in tackles. Like he eats up so much space and so much carnage and bodies in there that he's a big time run stuffer. It is not the same as going and getting like an edge, right? And saying, oh, we got a guy that's got 9 sacks or whatever. It's like you're not gonna. He's what he needs to be in the middle. He can get better for sure, but we definitely should retain Dominic Williams. There's no doubt about that.
I agree.
And on this, my good buddy Jeff out there at Inola, recent winners of the Friday Night Lights contest with T-Mobile. The thing about Allie doing his own thing at Jacksonville State was essentially a clone of Brent Venables' defense. So he's able to do him wanting to do his own thing is just do what Brent Venables does anyways. So maybe a freedom of, I don't know, certain personnel or certain this, that, and the other. But for the most part, his defense, the defense he wants to run is just whatever the highest level of Brent Venables' defense is. And I do think Brent Venables trusts Zach enough to be like, hey, look, if you want to, put in some wrinkles here or do some things here, go for it. Like, I trust your and I think BB understands. He's 29 years old or 30 years old. Like, he can get better, he can evolve and everything like that. So, yeah, I think his own thing would be what Brent does. We need good edge players. Yeah, well, if R. Mason Thomas, just as reported, Okoye makes a jump, PJ, old 5-star PJ, but you're not going to not retain Dominic Williams and spend money on an edge player because you would need to replace Dominic Williams' production on the interior before you move that money to the edge, because in the SEC you got to be able to stop the run.
Yep.
You have to be able to stop the run. So that's who gives you an advantage to stop the run. You need Miguel Chavis to develop his room. You need Miguel Chavis to develop Okoye and Nigel Smith and PJ Adebawore, and you need him to develop all those guys. He got them on campus. Now it's time to develop them into big-time pass rushers.
Yeah. Well, we will see. I mean, our Mason Thomas did have a good year. You know, I know there are people that aren't the biggest fans of Chavis, but, you know, maybe it's a little feather in his cap. But, you know, just want to see more consistency for sure and see if he can continue with that production and become even better next year, you know. And obviously Danny Okoye and PJ, see what they can do, what they can turn into.
Well, cool.
All right, guys, any more questions? I'll give 30 seconds for some more questions.
I was about to say, is it a shortened holiday show? 1,400 people in here. Those likes better be up there, folks.
Hey,
better
right now.
See the likes.
Right now. Bye. That's it. If you appreciate what we do, just hit that like button.
Ooh. SGA went off for 45, 8, and 7 on 15.
We don't play no defense.
On 15 of 22 from the field, 4 of 5 beyond the arc. Man, just a monster. Just a monster.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The job security stuff is dumb to me. I'm not saying you are. The job security stuff is dumb to me because he has already supplanted himself as a very good defensive coordinator. He's a Broyles Award finalist. Even if we lose 6 games next year, but the defense is still as good as it was this year, you think he's not going to get a job?
He would be the hottest. He would be the hottest guy on the market.
That's what I'm saying. So that doesn't make sense to me. Like to go to a lesser job because I was doing such a good job, and the head coach might get fired at this blue blood university, but I'm somehow not going to have an opportunity. No, that's not. No, sorry, that's not at you, Jim. I love you, bro. I got no beef with you.
I would just bet on OU turning it around. That's what I would bet on. Like I said, we were historically bad last year on offense, and we went out and hired the hottest offensive coordinator name available, another Broyles guy, and brought in brought in the number 1 portal player who happens to be a quarterback who happened to play for the guy that is now our offensive coordinator. So, like,
yeah.
And you expect to get much healthier. My thing is, like, getting Jaden Gibson and Deion Burks back, that's better than any portal wide receiver could add. And also, I got to address this. I know there were a lot of people that wanted the Branch brothers. I think people just got wrapped up in Pac-12 After Dark. And I brought this up last week, but people are still talking about it. So hopefully some of you 1,400 people that are like, OU's putting in the portal because we didn't go get the Branch brothers. Look, Zachariah Branch, everybody's like, he's a big-time return guy. No, he ranked 94th in the country in punt return average. His longest punt return of the year was 20 yards. You know, at a better punt return average, Peyton Bowen. So, like Zach Branch, not explosive in the return game this year. You know how many offensive touchdowns he had this year in a Lincoln Riley offense? 1 the entire year. He had 47 catches because they use him on screens and checkdowns and bubbles and, you know, all this kind of stuff. They try and get him the ball. He didn't do anything with it. So he's not a downfield threat. He's got tons of speed, but he's going to be extremely expensive. And you have to take his brother too, Zion, who's a safety. We're good on safeties. As long as Brandon Hall's, got a job in Oklahoma, our safety room is going to be loaded. Mario Robinson joins a room that has Hardy, Bowen, RSJ, Powers, Boganowski, like all these guys. Like, our safeties are fine. Like, we don't, and I'm not trading any of them for Zion Branch because he has to come with his brother, Zachariah. Like Zachariah's going to end up at like Arizona State or something like that. And everybody's going to be like, oh man, they got the best portal wide receiver. Like, really? Did they? Does that sound like a world that exists? Because I don't know. I would need my top portal wide receiver to have more than 1 receiving touchdowns in the whole year of 2024.
Trav said Mario Williams 2.0.
Mario Williams was much better this year than Zachariah Branch. Much better than Zachariah Branch.
Outside of Lincoln's offense, which, hey.
Yeah, weird. West Carolina transfer.
The quarterback or the tackle?
We got 2. So I really like the tackle. Provides good depth, I think, good competition. And then I think the quarterback, obviously. The quarterback is so interesting to me because we picked up a guy that threw for 600 yards in a game that I think he had the 4th most in FCS, 4th most explosive plays in FCS. He is a great emergency 3rd-string quarterback. He simply is. Like, this is the Davis Bevel position you're recruiting to. Like, you have to go get a backup because you've got Hawkins and Mateer there, and you need a guy that's going to be an emergency guy. And this was about as good as you can get from an emergency recruiting position. So,
yeah.
Yep. Nearly 1,500. Man, I hope we got some likes in there.
Man, me too. We'll give y'all a few seconds before we end it to go ahead and like it. We appreciate y'all.
Go ahead and like it.
It was fun. It was a good little episode. We're hoping that we can get that the 7th win tomorrow, get over 500, and head into the off season and just
momentum.
You said what?
Momentum.
We'll talk more next week about obviously what the off season looks like. We'll have plenty of off season stuff as we get into deeper into it, and we obviously have mostly been OU. We may with the expanded playoff, maybe we'll take a dip into some of the playoff games and stuff like that, but just see what everybody else is thinking. But man, we appreciate y'all. We love that y'all came in and showed out tonight. 1,500 people is pretty cool. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Come back next week. Everybody, hopefully have a Merry Christmas. And, next time we see you will be 2025. So.
Later.
Boomer.